The town of Maplewood, Ohio, woke beneath a pale autumn sky. Fog clung low over the cracked sidewalks, swallowing the world in gray. Lampposts flickered dimly, and the streets smelled of rain from the night before. The air carried a sharp chill, biting at anyone who lingered too long. At the center of town, Lincoln High School stood tall, a fortress of red brick and glass. Its doors groaned open as students poured in, some laughing, some yawning, some dragging their feet. The halls came alive with the usual noise, lockers banging shut, sneakers squeaking against linoleum, teachers calling for calm that never came. And in the middle of all that chaos, walked a girl who barely spoke, her presence like a shadow. Her name was Aliyah Carter, 16 years old, slim with deep brown skin and curls tied neatly behind her head. She wore simple jeans, a gray sweatshirt, and carried herself with a quiet grace. To most, she was invisible, just another transfer student drifting through the crowd. But Aliyah wasn't ordinary. Behind those watchful eyes was a storm few could imagine. She was the Michigan State Junior MMA champion. 4 years of brutal training. Countless bruises and scars. Nights spent sparring under fluorescent gym lights, fists pounding against heavy bags until her knuckles bled. She had dropped opponents taller, heavier, meaner than her. She had trained until her body screamed for rest, and then trained harder. Yet nobody here knew, and that was how she wanted it. Because before leaving Detroit, her mother, Dr. Monica Carter, had gripped her daughter's hands and whispered words heavy with fear. "Sweetheart, no more fights, no more proving yourself, please. Just be normal this time, promise me." And Aliyah promised. But promises are fragile things. The first week at Lincoln High passed quietly. Aliyah answered questions when teachers called her name but never volunteered. She sat alone at lunch, quietly sketching in a small notebook. She kept her head down, her words few. She thought, maybe this time, she could just blend in. But predators always find the quiet ones. It was Thursday when the shadow fell across her lunch table. She looked up slowly. Brad Thompson, tall, broad-shouldered, blonde hair tousled just enough to look effortless. He was the kind of boy who didn't need to be voted king of the school. He already acted like he was. His grin was sharp, cruel. Behind him stood Kyle and Jake, his loyal shadows, ready to laugh at whatever he said. Brad leaned down, his tray clattering against her table. "So, Detroit, huh?" "Yes," Aliyah said, soft but steady. "You think you're better than us? Walking in here like you don't need anyone? See, this school has rules. My rules." The cafeteria noise dipped, conversations stalling. Students leaned in, sensing something. Brad's voice lowered into a sneer. $5 a day for protection, especially for a black girl like you." The words dropped like a stone. Silence spread. Some kids laughed nervously. Others looked away, shame flickering across their faces, but not enough to make them speak. Aliyah didn't move, didn't flinch, but under the table her fists tightened until her nails bit into her palms. She could end this. One punch, one strike, and Brad Thompson would never forget her name. But she stayed still, because she had promised. Brad smirked, mistaking her silence for fear. "See you tomorrow, Detroit." He turned, his friends howling with laughter behind him. The next days grew worse. Shoulders slammed into her in the hallways, books slapped from her hands, whispers trailed her steps. Then came Friday. The cafeteria again. Brad wanted a show this time. He swaggered up to her table, grinning wide for his audience. The room stilled, waiting. Then, without a word, he tipped his tray, dumping soup, milk, bread straight into her lap. Gasps, laughter, phones lifted instantly, recording. Brad spread his arms wide, soaking in the cruelty. But Aliyah stood slowly, her eyes fixed on him. Her sweatshirt dripped, her hands trembling, not with fear but with restraint. When she finally spoke, her voice was calm, even. "You just made a mistake." Brad laughed, tossing his head back. His friends doubled over. To them, it was comedy. But a few students near the front felt something shift, something subtle, electric. Because Aaliyah wasn't afraid. Not anymore. By the final bell, the rumor had spread like wildfire. Brad had challenged Aaliyah, after school, the back parking lot, and everyone wanted to see it. By 3:15, the lot was packed. Dozens of students circled, phones ready, voices buzzing with anticipation. The cold air carried the hum of excitement, of hunger for violence. Brad strutted into the circle first, his chest puffed, cracking his knuckles. He looked like a gladiator stepping into an arena. And then Aaliyah appeared. She walked in quietly. No dramatics, no smirk. She dropped her backpack gently to the ground and stood, still, waiting. The crowd hushed. Brad shoved her hard. She didn't move. He swung wild and reckless. She slipped aside, smooth as water. Gasps. Another swing, harder, faster. She deflected, redirecting the force until he stumbled, nearly falling. Laughter now, but at him. Brad's face reddened, fury boiling. He lunged again, and that's when Aaliyah struck. Her fist shot forward, landing square in his chest. Not full force, just enough. Brad staggered back, gasping, crashing to the ground. Silence. The king of Lincoln High lay at her feet. He scrambled up, rage in his eyes, charging again. Aaliyah lifted her leg in one clean, perfect motion, stopping her kick inches from his chest. The crowd gasped as one. Brad froze. Because in her eyes he saw it. Raw power, held back by sheer will, the storm beneath the surface, and for the first time in his life, Brad Thompson felt fear. Aaliyah lowered her leg, stepped back. No smile, no gloating, no words. She didn't
need them. That night, whispers spread faster than fire. The new girl wasn't weak. The new girl wasn't ordinary. Her name was Aaliyah Carter, and this was only the beginning.